Word Chapter 4, Projects 2A and 2B. Project 2A, Changing Margins, Page Orientation, and Size. Step number 1, open your Netiquette file and do a file save as 4-Netiquette. Step number 2, click on the Layout tab. Step number 3, click the Margins button in the Page Setup group. Alright, here's my Page Setup group. Hit that down pointing arrow on Margins, and it says to select Narrow. So you'll see right here our default margins are 1 inch all the way around. Narrow changes it to a 1/2 inch all the way around, which means you're going to be able to fit a lot more onto this paper. Step number 4, click the Orientation button in the Page Setup group and then click Landscape. So, Orientation, Portrait is the default, which goes up and down, so you have your short border at the top, your long border on the side, and we're going to flip it to Landscape, which is exactly the opposite, where we have a long border on top and the shorter edge of the paper on the side. Scroll through the document and notice how the text displays on the page in Landscape Orientation. Okay, step number 6. Click the Orientation button in the Page Setup group and click Portrait. So we're going back to our normal piece of paper. Step number 7. Click the Size button in the Page Setup group and then click the Executive option, which displays with 7.25 by 10.5 below Executive. If this option is not available to you, choose an option with somewhat of a similar paper size. Alright, so we're just going to go to Size, and they want us to take Executive. Okay, if at home or in the lab, if you don't see that, you're just kind of learning how to change paper size, so don't worry too much about it. Just go ahead and select something that's similar. Okay, scroll through the document and notice how the text displays on the page. Okay, now we're going to change the size again. This time we're going to go with Legal. So we're going to go to Size, okay, and we're going to go to Legal, which is 8.5 inches by 14. We normally use 8.5 by 11. This time we're going to go to 8.5 by 14. Scroll through and take a look. Okay, so now it's a large piece of paper, everything fits on one. Click the Size button and then go back to our normal letter size. Okay, go ahead and hit Save, and we're ready to go on to 2B. So quickly read about changing margins at the Page Setup dialog box and changing paper size at the Page Setup dialog box. And then we're going to flip over to Project 2B, changing margins at the Page Setup dialog box. With Netiquette still open, and make sure you're still on your Layout tab, click the Page Setup Group dialog box launcher. Okay, here's Page Setup, there's the dialog box launcher. Go ahead and click it. Step number 3, at the Page Setup dialog box with the Margins tab selected, okay, we're on our Margins tab, click the top measurement box up until 0.7 displays. Okay, so this is a spinner box. Now all we have to do is click it 2 times, and our top margin is now 0.7. Click the bottom measurement box up until it's also 7. So bottom is right here, 1, 2, and it's 0.7. Select the current measurement in the left measurement box and type 0.75. So we're just going to go 0.75. Okay. Select the measurement in the right measurement box. Same thing, 0.75. So you have your spinner boxes that you can use. You can use these little arrows to go up and down, but you can always also type the size in yourself. Click OK to close that dialog box. Step number 8. Click the Size button in the Page Setup group and then click More Paper Sizes at the drop-down list. Okay, we went to Size, and then we go to More Paper Sizes. Alright, so now we're in our Page Setup dialogs, but this time we have the Paper tab selected instead of Margins. Okay? At the Page Setup dialog box with the Paper tab selected, click the Paper Size option box and then click Legal. Okay, so right now it says Letter. We're going to click down here and we're going to select Legal. Go ahead and click OK. Scroll through the document and notice how the text displays. Step number 12, click the Size button in the Page Setup group and then click Letter. Okay, so we're back to our letter size. Right there. And you are ready to save, print, and close.